What's up, Infected, and welcome to Kickstart Your Week. Now, if you're not familiar with what this show is, it is my weekly show that I put out that just covers the past week's Kickstarters that I thought looked interesting. Now, with so many Kickstarters in so little time, it's not possible for me to really cover every one of them. However, I generally try to limit it to 10 or less of the games that have come out this past week onto Kickstarter that, again, I thought looked interesting. Now, if you like this segment or show that I put on, and you like my channel in general, you need to check out the Gamerati. They're the only Kickstarter-centric curators on Kickstarter. Now, I'm going to have a link to the Gamerati down below and up here in the corner. They do a weekly podcast where they all cover, everybody that's on it kind of covers one game, and then they do interviews and stuff like that, and it's recently a thing that I've kind of started helping, and it's a lot of fun. The guys are really cool, and their podcasts are really interesting. Alrighty, first up is Dragon Rider. Now, Dragon Rider is a 4-player team game with like kind of a rock, paper, scissor mechanic where you're all these dragon riders that are flying around the sky, and you're trying to knock each other's dragons out of the sky, and it has an interesting, apparently a rock, paper, scissor mechanic. Now, I'm supposed to be getting a review copy of this. I haven't yet. With the Kickstarter already up, I don't really know exactly how well that's going to work, but you should expect to see a review for this up. However, of course, it will probably be a little bit later towards the end of their Kickstarter. But overall, it does look really neat. But, it does have like I said, a rock, paper, scissor kind of mechanic to it. Now, next up is the Brigade. Now, some of you guys might remember this. I reviewed it, and overall, I didn't really like it. However, I did see, and if you watch the review, I did see a good game in there. So, maybe they fixed the issues we had with the game, or, maybe they've hammered out the problems that we wound up having with it, and which is, the insane fiddliness of it, which was not really Kickstarter prototype problems. It was just a problem with the game itself. Maybe, up the ante and up the action, but either way, I did see a good game in that, so I recommend checking that one out as well. Next up is Archmage Origins. Now, I also reviewed this one, and there's not a lot I can say about this. It's a good, fun, fast little game. It's an arena brawler with, the Spartacus dice combat. And all you're doing is you're all rival mages. You're going into, a blood pit. You're summoning these demons and elementals and, these, electronic samurai or something. And you're all just beating the crap out of each other. And that's all you're doing in the game, and it's the last one, or the first one to get so many points worth of enemies dead wins the game. And it's just a fun, fast, light little slugfest, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely check that one out. Now, next up is Total Recall. Now, a lot of games, I'm not usually a big fan of games with an IP. I say that, but one of my favorite games is Battlestar Galactica. But Total Recall, this one honestly just looks like a retheming of the Resistance with a little bit of extra stuff added in. I'm a big fan of the Resistance, even though Secret Hitler kind of replaced it. Resistance is a good game, and then on top of that, it's not a Thuma, so Total Recall is amazing. So you slap that veneer onto Resistance, awesome. Number 5 is Before the Earth Explodes. Now, Before the Earth Explodes also is a rock, paper, scissor system, but this one seems to have a lot more teeth than a normal rock, paper, scissor system. You're trying to outsmart your opponents to colonize these other planets before the Earth explodes and basically extincts most of population on Earth. So you're all trying to fight each other, and it looks like you wind up having these interesting decisions of well, if I play, I think he's going to play, whatever this symbol is. If I play this, it's going to counter his symbol, and it's going to allow me to use my card. But you wind up having the problem is, do you really want to use that card? Because this card has an ability on it. So it's not like this ability trumps that ability. Each card have symbols on them that trump each other. So maybe you don't want to play this card because you want to hold the ability for later. And I thought that was kind of neat. It adds a little bit more teeth and a little bit more meat to a standard rock, paper, scissors system. Number 6 is Flashpoint Tragic Events. Now, if you see back here, I have Flashpoint Fire Rescue, which I actually think might be just out of screen. I love that Flashpoint Fire Rescue. And this one adds a fire deck, an event deck and a fire deck to the system, which replaces the hotspot, which is a little bit fiddly, but it replaces that. So now each game is totally different because you're going to be flipping over these event cards, I guess, whenever you would normally activate a hotspot. And I thought that was pretty cool. And, you know, even though it's not a game that makes it to the table very often, Flashpoint Fire Rescue is one of my favorite co-op games because it's grounded in reality. It's something that it's fun and light to play and very tense. Now lastly, number 7, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Valance Plus. Now this one it seems like a little bit lighter of a game that is teaching basic chemistry, which I thought was kind of cool because in general, I like science as a whole. I'm not great at chemistry, more, you know, astronomy and biology, but you know, I do enjoy chemistry, and with this one, it slaps on like a child-friendly veneer. All the pictures have, you know, children playing it, and so you're trying to make these elements by combining these the different. I know I'm using the wrong terminology here, but like to make water, you're combining hydrogen and oxygen, and then when you have both of those, you can take the water card, which I guess allows you to do things, and you know, then you can wind up making like these, you know, sulfuric acid, just all the different elements on the periodic table. And I thought that was really cool because any game that will have me learn things while playing the game is awesome. Now I don't know how much fun adults are going to have playing this one, but it does look really cool. The artwork's it's not even like cute, like childlike cute, it's a really good art. On top of the fact that it seems like, you know, again, it's like kind of like a set collecting to then make these elements, which this element now reacts to maybe your element and then activates these, you know, these other chains that they react certain ways and destroy each other or whatever. And again, I thought that was really cool, and it looks like it might have like an adventure element to it as well. But you know, any game that makes me learn things while I'm playing a game and having fun is a-okay for me. Well, that is my 7 games for this week. I couldn't really find 10. There were a few ones that I kind of wanted to add, but they didn't really look that good. Like one about stealing panties as an alien, which looked entertaining, but the game itself didn't look very good. So I narrowed it down to these 7. Now again, if you like this show and like my channel, definitely check out the Gamerati. They're really cool guys there. Their podcasts are a lot of fun. It's something I'm going to try to start helping out with and being on as often as I can. They do it once a week. So check them out again, the Gamerati. I'll have a link to the Kickstarter page down here and up in the corner. If I remember, I'll also put a link directly to their website as well, but their website's also on the Kickstarter, so there's that. Anyways, if you like what I do here and you like my show and like to support me, I'll have a link to my Patreon down in the description and up in the corner as well. Any support would definitely be appreciated. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and stick around. Give this video a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.